Welcome to Fredericksburg Mission, a podcast talking all things mental health and wellness in the Burgh. Brought to you by...
How do you shorten the time it takes to buy a car? Car buying just got easier. Pohanka365.com lets you complete as much or as little of the car buying process online. Pohanka365.com. Car buying simplified. Anytime, anywhere.
Welcome to Fredericksburg Mission. My name is Angela Rivers. In May, we honor our amazing foster parents. Today, we are kicking off our celebratory month with the amazing Family Systems Coordinator at UMFS of Fredericksburg, Felecia Cook. Welcome, Felecia.
Hey, Angela, thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
I am so excited to have you here and to be able to do this virtually as well during this pandemic. So we really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You are such a significant influence in the UMFS foster care journey. I'd love for you to tell our listeners exactly what you do.
Oh, that's exciting. I do what I love to do. You know, how many people get the opportunity to do that? And working with UMFS, with the foster parents, I get to help with training. I get to support the parents as they move forward on their foster parent adoption journey. I get to encourage them, support them, help them with training tools that they would need as they become licensed and certified foster parents with UMFS. It is very exciting. We get to meet so many people, so many diverse groups of people, different journeys, different backgrounds, but being able to come together and support them is amazing. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and you do support them so much. As the recruiter, when parents come in, I often say, you're like the mama hen, you know, you're the one that always holds their hand and fixes all the issues. So you are much, much appreciated. There often are many emotions when working with children and teens in foster care. Can you talk a little bit about how you balance heart and mind when working with foster parents?
You know, keeping it balanced is that the goal is to help children heal and to help children be in homes that will give them the safety, the security, the encouragement, the nurturing that they need to heal and to grow. So when we have those challenges, you know, if it's an issue with the family, if it's an issue with, if it's an issue with placement, if this is the right placement for a child, we're going to always come up with what's best for the child. And what's best for the family. So keeping it balanced is always, will there be healing? Will there be growth? And if it is, then that makes a difference. So I guess that's how I balance it. I hope I answered it right, the way that you were asking it. But for me, it's always the bottom line is, will this child grow? Will this child be healed? Will the family strengthen as a result of even having the child in their home? And if that's the case, then there's the balance. If I have to make one of those difficult choices, then it's always about healing and growth. And, you know, is the family doing well with the child in the home? Is the child doing well in the home? So heart, always keeping an eye on the child.
So Felecia, a large part of your role is training potential foster parents and moving them through the approval process. For anyone listening, would you mind letting them know how training works and what it consists of?
Yes, our training is so exciting. It's virtually. And I think one of the best parts of it that I've heard the parents say is that they could do it independently. So you can sit on a Saturday and do it for an hour or two and pick back up and complete it. But it is 15 modules of great training that not only will you utilize with the kids, but you get to utilize in every area of your life. And so they go through the training process, and as they complete the training, then I'm notified of that. So I know where everyone is in the process. And then we will meet together as a group, and we'll come together and we'll process the information. I'm not reteaching the information, but we do talk about it. We talk about some of the main terminology that we have, like bridging the gap. We talk about what that means as a champion for kids. How do you bridge the gap? We talk about how the brain and trauma interacts. And so when our families come through with the training, they are so excited. I always hear like, I didn't know all these things. And so it's the opportunity for them to learn how to interact with trauma, kids who've experienced trauma, and how that really affects them throughout life. And then we come together, like I said, and process it. And once they complete we call it a check-in reflection time, where we come together and we talk about it. And then after that, then we do an individual meeting with the families, and it's called reflection meeting. And at that meeting, we're digging, deep diving, and we talk a little bit about the training. How would it impact their home? How would it impact their lives having a child in their home? We talk about different things, childcare. We process the supportive services, the support system that they have. And then we take a time to just make sure that their values and our values as an agency line up, and just make sure that they understand the type of parents that we're looking for our wonderful children. And then after we do the reflection meeting, then we refer them to what we call home study. That's where they will have a home study author. Sometimes it's me. We have several of us who write home studies. We'll go into the home and we do 3 to 4 meetings with them and ask a lot of questions. We talk about upbringing. We talk about childhood. We talk about child rearing. We talk about how their parents parent them, just to get an idea of who they are, just to understand how they were parented. How would that play into them working with our kids? And so after we complete the home study, then we do what we call a panel meeting, where our intake team, we come together and we discuss the family. And again, making sure that the family is a match, that we are matched for the family, that we could meet their needs. And then once that is identified, and then once we get with Angela and we have all the paperwork and it's a go, then I schedule an opening meeting. And that's when we get to celebrate. Hey, you did it. You made it. You met all the goals. And now you are officially a UMFS foster adoptive family. And so that's a really exciting time because they've worked really hard, put in a lot of hours, put in some time and some reflection. And so we get to celebrate them.
Yes, certainly. And then what is the time frame, from start to finish? That is usually a question. And so for anyone listening, if they were to start to become a foster parent, what is the time frame on an average basis?
Well, it varies, and we say this a lot. I know Angela says it because it really varies, depending on the family. Like some families come in and they're ready. They're ready to go. They're ready to knock out the paperwork. They're ready to get their physical taken care of. They're ready. And so if you get all those documents and DocuSign signed ahead of time, and then we get you in training, it can be from anywhere. We try to have it all done and have you open within 90 days. That's the goal. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer. It just depends on when you send away your background checks, when we get the backgrounds in, when we get your referrals in. So I tell families, hey, after Angela tells you everything that you need, then I say, start calling your references. Tell them to be expecting this. Schedule your physical. All these things that you can do to get out the way. So that way, by the time you've gotten all your documents, you've completed training, then we can open you. So it really depends on the family. Sometimes there's more questions that we have to go back and answer. They're unsure. This is a big responsibility. And so when families have additional questions and it seems like we stop the process, it's not a bad thing. It's like, okay, let's address it. What are the concerns? And then we can pick it back up again.
And then what do you think about, training being online? We changed so many things during this pandemic, and it used to be where the families had to give up 2 Saturdays and 2 Tuesday evenings to train, and now it's virtual. On my angle, families are loving that. And how do you think that's helped the families come through?
Oh, I think that's wonderful. The pandemic had us shift gears quickly, real quick. We have an amazing trainer, Carmen Daly, who was able to, we already knew that our training was great and that it was powerful for the families. As a trainer, I would go through it month after month after month and still thought, oh, this is great. But she made it even better. She was able to add some different components and she made it more interactive. And it's just a wonderful tool for our families to have. So I love that we do it virtually. Some families, we meet a little bit more just because we're still processing some of the information, but they love having it virtually. I love having it virtually. Um, Although I do sometimes miss the personalized touch, but we do that throughout the process anyway. We found wonderful ways to still have a hands-on approach, even though we are virtual. And so that's really good. And I think that's the difference with us. We go the distance to make sure that our families feel supported. Not that we just tell them you're supported, that they feel us, they feel our presence throughout the whole process. So even through a virtual platform, we're still able to get across who we are, to help them feel like we're here to support them, and for them to understand the agency as a whole. So
Yeah,
back to your
certainly.
question. It's great. Yes,
Yeah. I think the families are loving it, and it gives the families the ability to work around their schedule as well, not have as many constraints as they're going through.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And then the ability to be flexible. There's some things in our job that we don't have a lot of flexibility with because the state mandates certain paperwork must be completed, but with the training and allowing people to slow it down or speed it up or shift dates if you can't meet the scheduled training date, we're flexible. We can schedule another date. And so I think that's really good too.
And that's certainly something we ask for in our families is the flexibility. As foster parents, you have to be flexible. And so, kicking them off from the beginning on that realm, I think is really important.
Absolutely.
And so, what is your role in placing youth with families?
Oh, that's exciting too. I love that part of it. So we sit on an intake team. And so what happens is that we'll get referrals, and then as a team, we come together and we try and figure out which one of our families would be the ideal match for this particular child. Um, and so it's just a lot of knowing our families, knowing their recommendations, knowing the ages of the kids they would like in their home, the sex of the kid they would like in their home, just knowing what their expectations are, about the kiddos that we work with. So we get to process this as a team. Sometimes it's really quick because it's what we have emergent and non emergent. And sometimes emergent is like right now, we need a placement, we need a home for this child, like right now. And so with that, then we have to, be on top of our game with figuring out who's available for a child to join their home right now, who could be available in 30 minutes, who could be available in the next hour, and does it meet their recommendation? And so that's exciting. So my role is to assist with that, to give recommendations about the families that we have that are open for children right now, to share that with our whole team. Sometimes we talk about it. And once we make the referral and then submit a family, then it's not up to us which family gets selected. The referring agency, um, Department of Social Services, they're the ones who make the final decision based on our recommendations.
Yeah,
Jennifer
that's
Maddox, I'm sorry, Angela. Jennifer Maddox, who is our intake manager, director, she's amazing. And so I keep up with the families here, but she keeps up with the families across our different centers. And so sometimes she'll say, hey, do you think this family would be good? Do you think they could be available? What do they need? So she's constantly probing and asking questions that help us make the best decisions and as to which homes the children are placed in.
And then how do you navigate some of the difficult challenges that arise when a child's placed in the home? How do you help navigate that and help the families through the challenges?
Ah, so first of all, I know that we do a really good job with preparing our families for what to expect. So we prepare our families for the type of children that will come in their homes. We prepare our families for different scenarios. So I'm saying, even when we're doing home study, well, what if your idea of proper dress code and the child's idea of proper dress code do not line up? How will we handle that? So, giving them as much preparation as we can, and then recognizing that we could prepare all day long, that someone's going to come in and it's not going to be the norm. So, what we do is normally the families, if there is a concern, they will reach out to me, reach out to their TFC caseworker, and they may say, this is a challenge for us. And it could be little things, when you bring families together, it's a period where you have to get to know each other. You have to get to know what each other like and what you don't like. And so I always say that it's just a period of trying to figure out who each other is. And so we have simple things with the pandemic right now. It's a lot with school. Like, okay, so are you doing school or are you not doing school? So things like that. The TFC workers, we have several of them right now. We have Christy Daniels, we have Gabrielle Tripp, and we have Destiny Gillis. They are amazing, awesome. And so sometimes they'll give me a call and say, hey, this family is struggling right now, because they're in the homes often, more times than I am. And so they may say this family is struggling. It may be bedtimes, it may be the telephone, it may be electronics. And so that will prompt me to reach out, and see what we can do to support the family through it. We've had, many challenges, but first we want our families to know that we are available. So I think that's one of the first things I do to help navigate through any challenges, is to let them know that I am available, and then to let them know that we do care about their concerns. It's not like we just have a child, here you go, and you're on your own. No, we walk you through the process. And so oftentimes I'll get the call that a family is struggling. We had a family recently who has some medical challenges. And so we as a team, we did meals. We got meals delivered to the family. We got things delivered to the family that could help alleviate some of the day-to-day pressures. So just showering them with support in all type of ways. We do a lot of self-care. So when we have families who may be struggling or navigating through some of the difficult times, the one of the first things I'm gonna say is, how are you doing with your self care? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking a moment? Or are you taking a break? And if not, let us help you with that. So we have some unique partnerships. Angela has helped navigate through some really good partnerships I have, and our whole team has. And we'll send parents for massages. We'll send them for pedis and manis and get their hair done, just because we want them to know that during the challenging moments, we understand and we're still here. Um, Challenging moments come in every household, but I believe it's just how we, like you said, navigate it, how we utilize our support team. And so we in Fredericksburg, the UMFS office recognizes that the parents are doing the hard work. So what can we do to support them? So we do our very best to support them in non-traditional ways and in some of the traditional ways, like providing educational material, making sure that they're trained on um, what the child that has joined their family, what they need, if it's a diagnosis, if it's a particular behavior, making sure they have that information, but then also reminding them to self-care and to take care of yourself as you are taking care of the kiddos is really important.
Speaking of self-care, that background of yours is just stunning. Where are you?
I am on my back porch. So I said, we have a house full. We have a couple of us are working from home. A few grandchildren are here working from home. So I just thought today I just needed a moment. And so here we go. Beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Absolutely
So
beautiful. Yes,
thank
absolutely
you.
beautiful. Yes. So
Thank
we
you.
often hear a lot of misconceptions when people are going through training.
Mhm.
What are some common misconceptions that you hear? I mean, obviously, we can't control all circumstances, but there are certain things that people assume and they are just myths.
Yes. So I would say, Angela, you and I talk about this often. Just how there are so many misconceptions about just the different type of kids that we work with. And one of them are the teenagers. There is so many preconceived notions that teenagers are difficult, or if you're going to work with an agency, you don't want to work with the teens, but you want to work with the younger kids. We call them the littles. And so my thing is always, if you're in this for the long haul, littles grow up to be teens. And so it's still, at some point, you're still going to have to navigate that. And so that's always the most exciting part, when we get to talk about, well, why don't you want to work with teens? And so it's just things that they think that, some of our teens have been in a lot of trouble. We have different type of kids. And so some may have had some interactions with court services. Some may have some diagnoses, but they're still children that need to be healed and that are looking for people to just support them and just to say, I'm here. I'm not looking at what this piece of paper says about you, but I'm here. And I got you and I'm available. And so I think that's the biggest one, because most of the teens that I've worked with or that I have had the pleasure of meeting within our agency are wonderful. They just need supportive families to believe that they are wonderful, or they can become wonderful with the support of families. And so that is one. And then I think the other one is that sometimes families think that um, they, they have their mindset on an ideal child for their family. And so I think that notion is that they will get to pick a particular child for their family, or they can say, this is the child that I want. And so that it doesn't always happen that way. And so it's kind of like it may not uh, be the ideal child down to every piece that you've identified. Sometimes down to age and hair and the a boy versus a girl. But do you want a child that you can love? Do you want a child that you could really make a difference in their lives? Do you want a child that is seeking love? Do you want a child that is yearning for a place to call home? And so I think when we try and change the mindset and get families to see that, just put your, these lenses that say I'm seeking to help a child, and a child that needs love. And when we could help them change that around, that thinking around, then we've had some wonderful stories of children and families. So I think those two would be the biggest ones. I remember one family, we had a family come in, and of course they wanted young kids because they wanted to grow their family, and they they haven't had bio kids yet, and so they wanted young kids. And sorry for the background noise. um, and and so they came on board, they were licensed, and immediately we get this call, and it's for a teenage child, right? And so I call them and I'm like, I heard you. I know what you said. I know what you want. But this kid, you said you wanted to help a child. And once I explained it, they said yes. So they went from a little younger kids, I think it was like 6 to 12, to taking a 15 or 16-year old, and they've had a wonderful experience. And what they've learned is that they're not afraid of the teens. The teens are wonderful. The teens need love just like the little one does. um, and so that has been definitely a success story. They found out that they really enjoy working with teens because they get to show them so many other aspects of becoming adults. They get to prepare them with independent living skills. They got the opportunity to show this child some experiences that at 16 they had never had before, like going to the beach and things like that. And so it's a whole different experience. So, for those of you who are listening, I encourage you just to open up your mind to not a particular child or a particular age group, but do you want to help a child? And if you have your mindset on helping a child and making a difference in the child's life, then let us help prepare you for different areas, because it may be different groups of children that you can work with.
Yes, certainly. That was beautiful, Felecia.
Thank
Has there
you.
Yeah, of course. Has there been a time during this, while you've been in your role, that you have just said, you know what, I am making a difference?
You know what, Angela? I look at it like this. Honestly, you know, my goal is really to make a difference in the lives of other people, whether it's at work, whether it's in the community, whether it's in home. I just want to make a positive difference. But when I think of it in that context, being at work, I look at so many of our parents who are really making the difference. Like, they are making the difference, and I just get the luxury of supporting them. So do I look at it like I'm making a difference? I hope so, but I know that there's so many others who are in there, doing so many other things. You are recruiting families for us, so you're making a difference. We have the TFC workers who are, in the homes with the families, teaching them strategies. They're making a difference. We have our admin team who support us religiously. They are making a difference. So my desire is that we all make a difference, be it a small piece or a large piece. We complete a puzzle, And so I hope that um, the small piece that I bring to the table makes a difference. If it makes a child safe, then I've did my job. If I've helped the family stay committed to this child, keeping this child in their home, then I've done my job and I've made a difference. So um, that's my desire, that whatever pieces that I have to play in this, that it does make a difference in the lives of the children who are ultimately why we're here.
And then I ask the same question at every podcast. And, I always praise you for being so well with words. And during this podcast, I can certainly see that. I appreciate it. And so this question that I always ask is, we at UMFS, we value our families, we value our staff, we value our children as being unwavering champions. So how are you an unwavering champion?
Wow, really? I'm almost stuck on that one. Almost.
I could
Um,
probably tell you a few ways.
okay, I'll let you help me. um, it's not often that I'm stuck for words, but when I think of unwavering, so I think of someone who is steady, someone who is committed, someone that you don't have to worry about here today and gone tomorrow. That's what I think of unwavering, that is in it. And so if I think of a champion, I think of someone who is a survivor, someone who is committed to win, someone who is committed at making things be successful. That's my definition of it. And so if I think of how if I had to say that I am an unwavering champion, it's because I am committed. I am committed to our families. I'm committed to UMFS. I'm committed to our overall goals, our mission statement. I'm committed to seeing children's lives changed. So that's what I could think of, like it's this no matter what, let's get it done attitude that will make a child in a family's life better. And so I've done that and I will continue to do that, do the funny things, do the difficult things, even do the silly things for the families just to get them through another moment. And so yes, I would say I am an unwavering champion for the lives of children and what we do at UMFS. Yeah.
I would certainly say you are. That is for sure.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners about what it's like to be a foster parent?
Well, I guess if I had to say what it's like, I couldn't say what it's like because it's different for every family, depending on your family structure, your family needs, what are you looking for, and the type of child that you have in the home. But what I will say is that from every person that I've spoke to who have had a child join their home, be it from fostering or adoption, that they said the difference that they make in a child's life, the ability to help a child feel secure. That's something that you can't buy. You can't go out and buy, wow, look at that smile on that child, or wow, look at that child as they had an aha moment. Like, I got it, I get it, you're here. Um, and so I think for those who may be considering it, who have ever thought about fostering, maybe you thought your family's structure wouldn't allow you to be it. We have families who live in apartments. We have families who live in mansions. We have families who live in two-story homes. We have different diverse type of families. We have single parents. We have retired families. We have some brand new parents. It just depends. I would just say that if you really wanted to make a lifelong difference in the life of a child, then consider having a child join your home. You get to see them change. You get to show them security and safety. Um, and yes, you get to go through some of the ups and downs, but that's parenting. We all do. Um, so that would be my thing. If you've ever thought about it, call Angela. She is amazing. She is amazing with this, and she will help you through the process. We all will. Just give her a call. Let her share the joys of fostering and adoption with you. And then if you have any questions, you can by all means give us, any of us at the office, a call, and we talk you through it. But fostering, an adoption is a wonderful way to make a difference. I take this personally in some areas because I also have grandchildren that I am um, raising right now. And so when I think about it, like, what if something would have happened and I couldn't take, the kids in? What would have happened? And my thought is that I would have hoped that it would have been someone like me that would love them and show them who they are and who they could be in spite of adversities. Someone who would show them that you are worthy of love, that you are worthy of compassion, and that you're worthy of all the good things that will come your way. I would have wanted it to be someone like that. And so we know that there are so many people out there. You don't have to have all these degrees, and we take those too, but you don't have to. You just have to have the desire and the willingness and the open space and to love a child. And so again, if you're interested, there's so many children out here who need people to just show up for them and let them know that they are worthy. And so we can't ever have enough parents, and different families, because it's different kids. And so your family may not be for John, but your family may be available for Derek. And so it's so many kids, and they just need love. They just need you, actually. And so give Angela a call and let us help you make a difference in the life of a child or two.
Well, Felecia, it has been amazing having you on, and it has been not just hearing your voice and your beautiful words, but that beautiful background has been lovely to have on here today. A little breath of fresh air. It's so nice to have you on and to see you. And, we do call ourselves a dream team because we do pride ourselves in what we do and how we serve our community. So it's been lovely. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And you're doing an amazing job, Angela. And so continue to keep doing what you're doing, because it's making a difference in our community and in the lives of children. So it is great to work with you and be a part of the Dream Team.
Well, thank you, Felecia. For anybody that's listening, if you would like to become a foster parent, please visit umfs.org/foster. This is Angela Rivers with Fredericksburg Mission. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Angela Rivers with Fredericksburg Mission. Tune in at Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Join us again next week for our next episode.
How do you shorten the time it takes to buy a car? Car buying just got easier. Pohanka365.com lets you complete as much or as little of the car buying process online. Pohanka365.com. Car buying simplified. Anytime, anywhere.